Here we are at Swan Creek Range, northern Alabama. This morning we're going to be testing the Uberti second model Colt Dragoon using the new Era's Gone Colt Dragoon Bullet. These are just being introduced. First time they've been shot, so we'll see how they do. After we introduced the Johnson & Dow Civil War era 44 bullet last year, I had quite a few requests for an earlier style sugarloaf bullet designed for the Colt Dragoon, and it was a much larger bullet. The first Colt Dragoon bullet molds produced a bullet that was essentially the same as that done for the Walker. It was sugarloaf, but had no heel, so it would not center itself into the chamber when being loaded. Eventually, a new design came up with a rebated heel that would fit easily into the chamber and would stay square as it was pressed down into the chamber. This basic bullet style came in about 1851 and was adopted for both the Dragoon, the Model 1851 Navy, and the 31 caliber Baby Dragoon. Although improved bullet designs came out later, in the late 1850s, the sugarloaf design remained in use till the end of the percussion era, and it was made at most U.S. arsenals during the Civil War and also private manufacturers, although there was a shorter version that was designed for the Model 1860 Army. For a specific bullet to copy, I chose one out of my collection that was made by the Waterville Arsenal during the Civil War, but it's the original Colt Dragoon style and weight, and it's very similar to the one that came out of the Colt molds that were made in the 1850s. Here I've placed the original bullet on the side of a second model Dragoon made by Uberti to give you an idea of how much of the chamber it will take up. It's 0.80 inches long, so it's a very long bullet. I provided detailed measurements of this bullet to my good friend Stephen Sheldon, and he turned those measurements into a CAD drawing that eventually was used to produce the bullet molds. As I mentioned before, the bullet is 0.80 inches long. It is 0.457 at its widest diameter, and the heel tapers from 0.432 to 0.428, so it will match the taper of a combustible cartridge should you choose to use it for that purpose. Here we are back at the range. I'm popping caps in preparation for loading, and I'm already running into trouble. My Dragoon is the worst when it comes to cap sucking of all my revolvers, and I'll soon be investing in a set of slick shot nipples to hopefully correct some of that. I decided to test fire with 30 grains of 3F because that's what the 1860 Ordnance Manual suggests, and to come to find out that was a pretty good choice to begin with, as you'll see in just a minute. That's just about all the powder I could get under this long bullet. It loaded very easily. As in subsequent loadings, it got a little tighter. But here you can see the bullet tips come right to the end of the chamber with 30 grains. Here's the first cylinder full. I'm shooting at 25 yards, and as you'll see, the cap sucking immediately rears its ugly head, and I begin having trouble after the third shot. I finished this cylinder full, even though you don't see it on the film here. You'll see me fire this last round, and then it jams up, and the caps are falling right down into the works. But here's the results. I was shooting at a target frame that had two targets on it. The bottom one was actually hitting about 10 inches high. The group started off very nice at about 1.5 inches, but after my cap sucking episode, that began to open up to about 5 inches, mainly because of my distraction. For these next 6 rounds, I reduced the powder charge to 25 grains just to see if I could see a difference. There's also no lubricant, only because I forgot to add it. You'll also see me advancing manually the cylinder because it was binding a little bit, And I realized after the fact that all I really need to do is just tap the wedge a little bit, and it loosened up just fine for the third cylinder full. We'll also see the difference in the group, which I found surprising.
No. How's it go? Well, I was hitting it.
As you can see, with the 25 grain charge with no lube, the group really opened up to about 9 inches. So I think there's a lot of work to be done to develop the proper load for this bullet. Right now I'm seeing a lubed bullet at about 30 grains being the best option, but other people may have better results or different results than myself. Overall, I'm very pleased with this new bullet. I think it adds a new historical dimension to shooting these big old Dragoon revolvers. Should be a lot of fun in the future as I develop cartridges and the proper load. If you're interested in seeing more about these, please go to our website at www.arasgonbullets@webstarts.com. I'll put a link in the description of this video. And if you enjoyed it, give me a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thanks a lot.